Hey, it's Richard. I thought we'd do a really quick impromptu recording. We just did something so totally outrageous that we had to record something today. And what it is Oracle NetSuite has allowed a MCP server to be set up so that you can chat with it with external chatbots. And MCP is equivalent to ODBC or API in the AI era. So it allows egress into your data from a chatbot. So the chatbot we're going to be using today is Claude, and we're going to put it into our NetSuite instance. To tell you what happened, we put it in our live instance, and we began chatting with it, and the information was insane, and it was unbelievable. So we said, well, we need to show it today. And rather than block stuff out, we decoupled it from our live instance and we connected it to our a dev instance that we had. So I'm going to link in the description of the video the instructions blow by blow on how to set this up in your NetSuite tenant. But we'll give you a little bit of a visual right now. I am on with Christian, our NetSuite expert. He's also into AI as well. I'm going to bring up his screen. He's going to show you a couple of the setup steps.
So, awesome. Thanks, Richard. Okay, so first thing, we're just going to overview on a couple of steps. The first one is that you have to have the MCP SuiteApp installed in your environment. So if you need to have your administrator go ahead and do this, you'll contact them and have them go ahead and do it. And if you go to the SuiteApps ribbon here at the top, you can just type in MCP after getting to the landing page, and it should be this one, but from Oracle NetSuite. You just go ahead and install that in your account. No other setup needs to be done with this suite app.
There's some roles that need to happen, and for those of you in the IT world, there is a OAuth prompt that happens. And so I'm going to link in the description the blow-by-blow setup, and it has a picture of the OAuth prompt that comes up that says, this MCP is going to be able to read these data tables. Are you cool with that? And then you say, okay.
Right, and along with the Suite app, you just give a couple of permissions to a different non-administrator role inside of your NetSuite environment, specifically for the MCP and OAuths that Richard was mentioning. So once that's set up, we have to go ahead and link it into our Claude account through a custom connector. So the way you go about this is just navigating into your Claude and going to your settings in the bottom left corner here. Once you get there, you'll see this connectors option underneath your settings. You'll go here and you should have, if you at minimum have to have the Pro plan in order to set this up. So if you do have the free version of Claude, unfortunately you do not have access to the MCP. So just at that first tier of paid plan, the Pro plan,
$20,
$20 a month about, you get this add custom connector option. From there you can configure custom connectors. What we did here is basically we provided it the MCP link, which just is a link with our NetSuite account ID. Within the link there, and then once that's done, you hit this. It generates a similar connect button like to these other Google Drive or GitHub connectors, and it prompts you to log into your NetSuite instance.
That's the OAuth call. So that's where you'll see the OAuth prompt for sure. Yeah, and then once it connects, you can go in and you've got some permissions there, right? You can see where.
Yeah, correct. So if you click on this configure, you can see all of the permissions that you can allow it to go and generate things out of your NetSuite. Some of these you can ask it if you want it to ask permission every time to run these specific prompts or things for you, or you can just turn them off altogether if you don't want it accessing specific things. For our case, we allowed everything on and to be unsupervised just for fluidity of going through the data. We pre-generated a couple of chats here just to show you how it goes about. So first one I'll show you is our item sales, top 10 and bottom 10. This is generated once again from a test environment, so none of this data is live data. So what you can see here is I asked it what were my top 10 best-selling items and bottom 10 items sold in 2024, and you can see it ran through a couple of queries here that it went through and accessed my NetSuite instance, and then it gave me a response based on the information that it pulled out of the NetSuite environment. So I have an interactive chart here over on the side along with...
Now again, I'm going to pause for just a second. Think about this. You have a NetSuite instance, and maybe you have somebody who is an owner or a board member or somebody who's not really into looking at the NetSuite dashboard, but they know how to ask questions like, who is my top salesperson, or who is this? They know how to type those kinds of questions that they would ask somebody, and it will answer.
Yeah, and it gives you easy reporting where you don't have to spend 3-4 hours generating analytical reports and then cross-referencing data to get these things that should just be easily accessible. This was fast, like so it took less than 2 minutes for it to generate this entire chart and go and access the data inside of my NetSuite environment. So on the left side here, you can see just the text prompt or response that it gave to me based on my top 10 and my bottom 4. In this case, I only had 14 items in my demo environment, so it just gave me a split there. On the right side, you can see here it gave me some charts based on this with sales amounts, quantities sold, the average unit price, and things like that. Very powerful stuff. You can take this even a step further, and you can see down here it's giving me top performers, low performers, revenue shares, and then recommendations based on my sales for those items.
Now, again, we hooked it up to our live data. I won't get into what we asked. It was shocking what it pulled back. I mean, you would think it's different when you see it displayed this way. Let me just put it that way. And so I said, well, there's some of this is private. So that's why we flipped to this dev data. And when this information comes up, like, it is really crazy. So the thing on the display on the one side is what Claude calls artifacts, but in ChatGPT, they call it canvas. So these charts are interactive. They are based off of the output of the prompt on the other side. You can iterate, you can update the charts, you can ask for more columns, you can do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there is an export to PDF.
And you can extract them as well, yeah.
Yeah, so, again, you're catching us like 10 minutes after trying this, so we're like completely freaking out right now. It's unbelievable. I think you got a couple other examples, right?
Yeah, and so another one that we just had was like, who are my top 10 selling customers? Based on, I didn't give it any other cross-reference data. We did have some that we couldn't show today based on cross-reference of item sales versus bottom selling customers, just so you could have more marketable data on how you want to target your item sales. But in this one, it was just top 10 selling customers for 2024. I asked it to give me some graphs and percentage metrics, quarterly breakdowns, things like that. You can see it went through a couple of sales report generation, and then it went through the customer data themselves to basically get that very granular data and meat that your higher ups would want to see, or your analysis staff would want to see.
Geeks and NetSuite dealers, you're seeing it actually execute. You were seeing it actually execute code, right?
Correct. Yeah. So when it goes and runs all these, it's running SuiteQL a lot of the time, and querying the database inside of your NetSuite. So
for you, it would be a long time to do all that.
Yeah, there are some templates that are pre-made, but most of the time you have to make modifications and really pinpoint what you're trying to report on, and then obviously customization of reporting. This is so much just quicker than anything else that anyone can generate manually. So this artifact, oh my God. This artifact is generated from your top 10 customer sales. So on the left, we have our plain basic text response that it gave us before. And then I'm just going to go ahead and blow this up a little bit further just so we can see it really largely here. So once again, I said, give me 2024, break it down by total percentage of sales, total yearly sales, give me quarterly sales as well, and just show it in various reporting formats, graphs, lists, everything like that. So you can see here we have a list, just top 10 sales. It goes through, it gives us our quarters. We go down here and it tells me my total sales by quarter, regardless of customer. And it does give me that even split pie chart as well if I wanted to see that going through the entire year, along with a flow chart like this where I can kind of see who was taking the lead over the year, with someone really not buying that much throughout the year, and then maybe they peaked at the end of the year, something like this company in green here, Blockster. So really powerful tool that can be used in multiple facets. Like Richard mentioned earlier, a couple other ones is like generating sales rep data. Who were my top sales reps for the entire year? Who were my top sales reps by quarter? Who were my bottom sales reps, people that I need to give a little bit of a push to make more sales? What items were I selling the most of, and what items were my lowest buying customers, or my customers that I had the least amount of sales for, what items in my top 10 item sales were those customers not buying, and how do I better market those items to those customers?
What we'll do is we'll do a updated video sometime maybe next week or week after. We're going to do a couple of different queries that I saw were really insanely
With some more
powerful.
deep dive data.
So
Yeah.
explain that one. That was that particular query that you did that we'll show in another video was essentially the top, or excuse me, the bottom. Tell me again, it was the bottom
Yeah,
five.
so basically what I did is I took my bottom 5 sales customers for their all of 2024, and then I took my top 10 selling items, and I took all the items that those bottom 5 customers purchased, and I cross-referenced them with the top 10 selling items. And any top 10 selling item that was not sold to any of those customers, I flagged it and basically want to know, how can I better market my top selling items to people that aren't buying? Or maybe that just alerts me to the fact that I'm not advertising the correct type of product or product line to that customer. Maybe they were a really high sales customer, and for some reason in Q3 and 4 of last year, they decided to not purchase anything from us anymore. Maybe we were advertising the wrong thing, and maybe the thing that they weren't buying in the top 10, they weren't even aware that we sold. So we need to shift our marketing and sales efforts to better suit our customer and get them the product that fits them. So
what we're going to do, we're going to come up with, we're going to end it now. We really wanted to push something out today because it was so compelling. It was crazy when we saw it actually working within a few minutes. We wanted to let everybody know. So we're going to do a couple of spicy reports, I'm going to say, and we'll record that, post it a little bit later. But this is a first look at Claude, one of the ChatGPT models, chat-esque models, doing an MCP call into NetSuite data, pulling it live in real time and answering questions that could be posed to it by a number of employees or executives. So I'm Richard, that's Christian, we're from Millennium. We hope you enjoy, and there's more spicy queries to come. Thanks.
Thanks, Richard.